Pablo Torre, who, if there was an award for Journalist of the Year, he would definitely get it, recently went on Morning Joe, which is a news program of all places. And during his visit on Morning Joe, he was asked to kind of weigh in on, well, the host was essentially asking him, why didn't LeBron decide to go to Cleveland? Like, he thought that would have been a kind of picture perfect ending for this guy to kind of end his career. And Pablo began to essentially unload on him and say, look, LeBron does things for narratives. He's doing all of this as a way to ring chase to catch Michael Jordan, because there's this obsession with these guys.
Media narratives around superstar legacies are hitting a whole new level this summer, between nonstop arguments over all-time rankings, superstar team switches, and endless debates about who deserves credit for what. Basketball fans are getting tired of the constant narrative wars. At what point does protecting a player's legacy start messing with the way we judge actual greatness on the court? Do you agree with Pablo Torre's take that LeBron James is ring chasing in Philadelphia? Or do you understand why some old school players would still take prime Grant Hill or Penny Hardaway over him? Drop your take in the comments, because modern basketball media has turned into a wild game of competing narratives. Every time you turn on TV, scroll through social media, or fire up a sports podcast, there seems to be another polished storyline explaining why a superstar made a certain move. And sometimes, the spin gets crazy. Instead of simply debating the basketball decision, everybody starts trying to decode what it means for a player's legacy, reputation, and place in history. Fans notice it too, and more people are calling out what they see as some serious mental gymnastics.
You guys know that this NBA media is obsessed with creating narratives around LeBron James, right? And they even did this with his latest move, where he decided to join the Philadelphia 76ers. I want to give you guys the practical application of what I'm talking about here. Just yesterday, I responded to a post on X. All right. And I want to put up the post here. It says, reports indicate LeBron James's court vision saw the dysfunction within the Lakers organization and decided to leave, right? Via Lakers lead. And we all know that this is total nonsense.
Just look at the reaction after LeBron James decided to leave Los Angeles and join the Philadelphia 76ers in free agency. Almost immediately, one narrative started making the rounds. LeBron supposedly saw major internal problems developing inside the Lakers organization and decided getting out was the smartest move for the final stage of his career. That sounds dramatic, but come on. There was another, much simpler explanation being discussed. Reports surrounding his camp suggested that contract value and the desire to compete immediately were major factors. His side reportedly wanted a deal reflecting what they believed was his full value, while the Lakers had their own long-term plans to consider. When Rob Pelinka and the front office did not offer the kind of massive extension LeBron's camp was reportedly looking for, Philadelphia became the next destination. That's business, that's basketball, and that's superstar leverage.
Not like he needed the money. He certainly is not getting paid the way he was paid throughout his career. Why wouldn't you exit gracefully through Cleveland? Why wouldn't you go back home after the Miami debacle? Why wouldn't you go back home and just have a beautiful bookend? And, he can stand in the stadium, fists raised in the air, saying, I am Akron.
So Philadelphia was the most shocking of all the choices for the reasons you say. LeBron has a bit of a paradox to him. He is the most narratively sensitive character I've ever seen in modern American sports. He is constantly, I think, aware on some level of the documentary he is starring in. And in fact, is a pioneer in sports in terms of having a production company, of being a human television show. And all of that is true on the one hand. And so why does he do this?
But instead of leaving it there, media coverage quickly became a battle over what the move supposedly really meant. That's where investigative journalist Pablo Torre jumped into the conversation during an appearance on Morning Joe. When asked why LeBron would not simply finish his career with a storybook return to Cleveland, Torre pushed a much sharper interpretation of the situation. Torre argued that LeBron is one of the most narrative-conscious athletes in modern American sports, someone who understands that practically every major career decision becomes another chapter in the story people tell about him. In Torre's view, Philadelphia was not necessarily some sentimental Hollywood ending. It was a calculated basketball decision from a superstar who knows his championship window is getting smaller.
So Philadelphia was the most shocking of all the choices for the reasons you say. LeBron has a bit of a paradox to him. He is the most narratively sensitive character I've ever seen in modern American sports. He is constantly, I think, aware on some level of the documentary he is starring in. And in fact, is a pioneer in sports in terms of having a production company, of being a human television show. And all of that is true on the one hand. And so why does he do this? Right? This is not the ideal ending from any screenwriting perspective. And what it does to me is it asserts LeBron James as a figure for whom his story is not one that can be peer pressured into existence. Like, LeBron chose something that I think is fascinating and also inconvenient, right? This is not a fan base in Philly that was crying out for LeBron, but what he's going to do is say to them, hey, you haven't won a title since 1983.
And then Torre dropped a phrase that instantly gets basketball fans arguing: ring chasing. His argument was that Philadelphia gives LeBron another shot at history, the possibility of becoming the first player to win championships with 4 different franchises. On top of that, bringing a title back to Philadelphia after a drought of more than 4 decades would create another massive piece of his legacy. Now that's where this debate gets spicy. Is chasing another championship really something to criticize, especially late in a legendary career? Or does constantly moving toward another title contender change how those championships should be viewed? Because when every career move becomes connected to rings, rankings, and legacy points, the conversation stops being just about basketball and starts looking like a full-blown fight over history. Because underneath all of this is an obsession among certain fans and media voices with chasing the shadow of Michael Jordan. But here's what makes the whole thing wild. Jordan himself does not seem interested in these modern narrative wars. He is not sitting around worried about YouTube subscribers, social media arguments, or whatever new all-time ranking dropped this week. Whenever Jordan appears publicly these days, he looks like a man enjoying the life he built. We're talking luxury yachts, vacations, expensive cigars, time with family, and his involvement in NASCAR. From his perspective, his basketball resume already speaks for itself. 6 championships, 6 finals wins, and one of the most iconic careers the sport has ever seen. He does not need to jump into every debate to remind people what he accomplished. The last time Jordan reportedly weighed in on a major NBA legacy debate, it was not even about defending himself. He backed Magic Johnson when the conversation turned toward whether Stephen Curry had passed Magic as the greatest point guard ever. Jordan appears comfortable with where he stands, while fans and analysts keep finding new statistics, comparisons, and arguments to restart the GOAT debate. And that's where things can get ridiculous. When people start comparing social media numbers or YouTube subscribers as if those somehow prove who was better at basketball, we've officially entered a different kind of conversation. Longevity deserves respect, championships matter, and peak dominance matters too. But none of those things need to be twisted into some made-up internet metric just to score points for one player's fan base. Critics of LeBron's late career moves argue that continuing to chase championships after age 40 makes the legacy debate feel increasingly calculated. His supporters would obviously push back and say that playing elite basketball for that long is itself historic. Either way, the argument shows how badly modern basketball culture wants every season, contract, and roster move to become evidence in the never-ending Jordan versus LeBron case. And that leads straight into another messy part of NBA culture: the generational beef between former players and today's fans. A clip recently went viral featuring Tim Hardaway Sr. and Lindsey Hunter discussing prime Grant Hill and prime Penny Hardaway on a podcast. When they were asked whether they would take peak Grant Hill or peak Penny over LeBron James, both veterans reportedly said yes without hesitation. The internet went crazy. Younger fans and hardcore LeBron supporters flooded comment sections, calling the former players bitter, jealous old heads who simply refuse to respect modern greatness. But there is another side to this story. For years, basketball media has made attacking previous generations part of the entertainment. Former players and personalities including J.J. Redick, Gilbert Arenas, Brandon Jennings, and Nick Young have all been involved in heated conversations about how stars from earlier eras would translate to today's NBA. Larry Bird's ability to dominate today has been questioned. Bob Cousy's competition has been mocked. Even Michael Jordan's era has been dragged into those milkmen and plumbers jokes, as if legendary players from decades ago barely understood how to hoop. So what happens when retired players hear their entire generation getting cooked over and over? Eventually, some of them fire right back. Their attitude becomes, fine, if 2 can play that game, we will evaluate your modern heroes using our own standards. You cannot constantly clown another era and then act shocked when players from that era return the same energy. That's why the hypocrisy gets so messy. Fans will dismiss a retired veteran as an old head simply because his basketball opinion sounds outdated to them. Yet those same fans may celebrate veteran stars still competing deep into their careers. Different generations played under different rules, spacing, defensive schemes, training methods, and styles. Pretending one era automatically destroys another makes for loud content, but it usually kills any serious discussion. Meanwhile, while everybody else is busy fighting these legacy battles, Victor Wembanyama represents something completely different. The San Antonio Spurs superstar has already built a reputation around defense, skill, and an almost ridiculous desire to improve. After a dominant season and major awards recognition at only 22, the conversation around Wembanyama is quickly shifting from potential to just how high his ceiling can actually go. Then came even more crazy summer chatter. Reports and photos sparked discussion that the French phenom may have grown again, with some speculation putting him around 7 feet 6 inches when seen alongside Rudy Gobert. Whether every measurement floating around online is exact or not, one thing is obvious. Wembanyama already has physical tools that look straight out of a video game. But his size might not even be the scariest part. Former NBA scoring wizard Jamal Crawford recently discussed working out with Wembanyama and came away seriously impressed by how quickly the young star could understand and apply advanced scoring techniques. According to Crawford, Victor was processing high-level basketball information at a speed that caught him completely off guard. Crawford was reportedly so impressed that he shared 2 scoring moves from his personal bag, moves he normally saved for elite-level players. And when a 3-time Sixth Man of the Year known for having one of the nastiest handles in basketball starts handing a 7-foot-plus phenom tricks from his private arsenal, that gets people's attention fast. Crawford basically described Wembanyama as somebody collecting the Marvel Infinity Stones of basketball, taking pieces from different players, studying every detail with real purpose, and slowly building a skill set that could become something the league has never dealt with before. But what seemed to impress Crawford even more was Wembanyama's mindset toward fame, attention, and legacy. At a time when social media numbers, fashion, sponsorships, personal brands, and online clout can become almost as much of a conversation as basketball itself, Wembanyama appears focused on something much simpler: mastering the game. He has publicly questioned why players should care so much about fame when they could put that energy into becoming better basketball players. At only 22, that mentality sounds straight out of another era. His approach has helped create this image of a young superstar who cares more about championships and improvement than being everybody's best friend. And that's exactly why some fans believe the NBA could be moving away from the overly friendly culture they have criticized for years. We've seen opponents laughing together after games, taking off-season trips, training together, and turning All-Star Weekend into one big hangout. There is nothing automatically wrong with players being friends off the court, but fans still want that smoke when the game starts. They want rivalries. They want stars who remember tough losses, take challenges personally, and come back determined to prove a point. Wembanyama has the talent and mindset to potentially bring some of that edge back without needing fake drama or manufactured beef. That relentless competitive mentality is part of why Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan became such powerful basketball icons. Their reputations were built largely around what people watched them do when the pressure was at its highest. They competed, they won, they lost, they came back, and their performances created the stories. That's ultimately what makes this entire modern NBA debate so messy. Media personalities can argue about legacies, former players can challenge today's stars, and fans can fight over rankings until the comment sections completely melt down. Pablo Torre can criticize what he sees as ring chasing, while veterans can remind younger audiences just how dangerous prime Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway really were. Those are opinions worth debating, not automatic facts everybody has to accept. And maybe that's what basketball needs more of: real debate without pretending one narrative is untouchable. Fans want competition, accountability, rivalries, and players whose games give everybody something worth talking about. Whether you ride with the old school mentality or think the modern generation deserves more respect, this argument clearly isn't disappearing anytime soon. So now I want to hear from you. Is Wembanyama bringing that old school competitive edge back to the NBA? Or is the whole modern players are too friendly argument completely overblown? And where do you stand on the LeBron legacy debate after everything we covered? Drop your opinion in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the breakdown. Subscribe to the channel for more and share this video with another basketball fan who has something to say about this debate. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.